Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zack Brown. We got a lot of stuff to go over with NASCAR out at COTA, World of Outlaws, getting a couple races in Talladega Short Track and Magnolia Speedway, and some NHRA out in Arizona kicking off this weekend of racing. Before going any further, make sure you hit that red subscribe button right down below and like the video. Again, that red, bright subscribe button. Not sure if this is actual pointing to it, but hit that and like the video. Like I said, we'll just dive right into, like we always do with NASCAR at Circuit of the Americas in Texas. Pretty action-packed weekend there. It's massive track. A lot of good competition there between all three different series. Truck race was actually a lot better than I expected. Zane Smith holding off Kyle Busch in that race, using strategy to get out ahead of him and doing something different than what Kyle Busch did for him to get that win. Kyle was probably the fastest. He and Chastain were battling it out for a while, and Kyle was definitely going in as the favorite to win that truck race, but it just happens. Whatever you work your strategy at these tracks, at these big road courses, and you take advantage of that stuff. You take advantage of different cautions that come out, and how you can get ahead. And Zane was able to get ahead of Kyle and take advantage of that. I think my unofficial pick in the Xfinity won. I think I had him picked for Xfinity and Cup. But Allmendinger held off Byron to win that race, and it was a really good race between those two. Those were the class of the field, the entire race on that one. And I don't think Byron really was faster than him. Dinger was able to just hit his marks, and Byron's kind of waiting on that mistake. But Dinger, he just doesn't make those type of mistakes on road courses. He doesn't overdrive the corners, especially with the win on the line like he had. But Byron had a very impressive run as well. That 17 car that Hendrick has for a couple races this year, they're always very impressive when they come to the track. So that was a very good finish there at that race too. And the Cup Series, at least the ending, was pretty similar how the Xfinity went. We'll dive that in a second. One thing I wanted to touch on was what I saw after the truck race. Kyle Busch was mentioning, I guess, how much softer his hands have gotten since they've switched over in the Cup Series to the sequential pattern instead of the H pattern. That's what the trucks have and Xfinity has. And as many times you're shifting, and how much rougher and more difficult it is to shift with the standard H pattern. You can get spoiled with that sequential shifting in Cup Series. I think that's what Kyle was alluding to. It was funny to see. I mean, he was obviously mad he didn't win that race, but I mean, that's Kyle for you. But yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. You're not used to, especially road course racing and the old-fashioned shifting. Old-fashioned shifters. Makes sense that you would have a little bit of issues going back to that after you kind of get a shifting of ease, so to speak. But going over to the Cup race, just finished it a couple hours ago. I mean, for anybody that doesn't know, Tyler Reddick wins the race. But let's go over how he even got there, which Tyler's starting to turn into a major road course expert at this point. He's got 3 road course wins out of his 4 Cup wins altogether. So it's probably something that people should look at when they're going to these road course races. Look at him to take advantage of them and run up front. He was the fastest car by far all day. He and Byron. But he was able to brake harder than everybody, and he didn't have the fastest straightaway speed. I think that went to Byron, but just the way that car was able to be under control, under braking. He could brake a little harder, and he was able to get off the corner quicker than Byron. That made all the difference. But let's talk about the 3 green-white checkers that happened at the end, where there's a caution after the first one, and it's a little ridiculous. A little bit of debris was on the track. I get it if there's a whole fender or something on the track, or a gigantic flat tire on the track. But if there's just some pieces of debris that were coming off the car in a massive road course like this, you don't need to throw a caution. Let the cars roll. And if you keep looking at it and the debris looks like it is worse than they thought, let them get to the white. It started getting a little bit ridiculous. So they had that. Then they did a second restart. That one was legitimate. There was a tire that came off of one of the cars and it was laying in the middle of the track. Yeah, you got to throw the caution for that. That makes sense. But they had to do a third restart, and I thought they were going to throw another caution for some debris that was out there. And by no means was I necessarily rooting for Reddick or anything, but you got to also feel for him too. You got to do the same crazy restart going to that funnel turn on each restart, and he's just hoping that somebody doesn't just push him out of the way, which everybody in general in the front raced pretty clean. It was towards the back, everybody got clustered up and just ran out of room. I actually thought Kyle Busch was actually going to bump Reddick and try to get the lead that way, but Kyle raced very clean, and he was very happy with how he finished after the race too, and he's kind of shifted to a different view and not as much of a negative. I'm just gonna say negative asshole as he usually is after he finishes second in a race. So that was different to see. But Reddick deserved it. Byron got shuffled back and ended up 5th. That's his first top 5 ever on a road course, so that's pretty awesome by him. And that team's been showing tremendous speed this year. But you have to be consistent throughout the entire year, build up that momentum going into the playoffs, and that's what they failed to do the last few years. So if he can keep that up, he's got a very good shot going into the playoffs. Again, with the formats and everything, it's anybody that gets into the dance. Anybody can win it these days, especially with these cars. It starts off lap 1 at COTA though. Jimmy Johnson's trying to log some laps in the Cup Series again and run his second race for the season for NASCAR, and he gets taken out from when Todd Dillon spun. There's a lot of chaos in the beginning. Stayed green for a while. I liked how they did the stage breaks under green flags. Honestly, I think that could be good, at least for road courses. That could be really good for strategies and stuff. I like breaks at some of the bigger tracks. They need cautions, especially when cars get strung out. It gets a little bit boring. But you also got to think, it's kind of neat to see the strategies play out by the end. So that's also something you got to weigh. But the biggest thing coming out of that, besides Tyler Reddick winning for 23-11 and everything, it's NASCAR has to figure out something to address the unnecessary amount of cautions that are just coming from just simple debris and things that would not necessarily cause a negative impact on those cars if they hit that particular debris. They got to look at it. They got to evaluate a little bit better. They were a little quick for those cautions. It started seeming like somebody was betting against Tyler Reddick in the official capacity of NASCAR. I'm not saying they were, but it just makes you just think a little bit more when things like that happen. But moving on from NASCAR, we'll get to the pick coming up for Richmond at the end of the show, like I always make. Oh yeah, once again, my pick for a Cup Series did not finish well. Sorry. I'm sorry. Uh, I'm sorry, Dinger. I did pick you for Xfinity, though, so you at least did well there. Unofficially picked you for Xfinity. Um, I'm still going to just stick with the Cup Series and still pick those at the end. Let's dive into the Outlaws and then go over a little bit of NHRA action. Commercials suck, don't they? But this one's worth it. I'm here to talk about Lickety Lou's Booyah sauce. 3 different flavors: original, yellow, and spicy. Go check them out at licketyloos.com. Check out some of their apparel, just like this shirt I'm wearing right here. Again, that's licketyloos.com. Go check them out. If you're not anywhere near one of their stores that they sell it, order online. They'll ship it to you. It'd be pretty awesome. Back to the show. So the Outlaws raced on Friday and Saturday this past weekend. First race on Friday was at Talladega, short track in Talladega, Alabama. I don't think it's technically exactly Talladega, Alabama. It's down the road from the big track, but it's a Talladega short track. A pretty unique track. I don't ever really seen it. Obviously, it's really small. But it put on a really good show. The unique thing with this, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Lernersville, with the just that the fact that there's, or actually probably closer to Silver Dollar, with there's no fence on 3 and 4, so you saw a lot of cautions being brought out by the cars running over the track and out of bounds really, and not be able to get back on. And it's frustrating when you do that in all the racing games that I may or may not have done thousands of times. That's when you gotta feel out what's worth it, if it's worth to be aggressive, or to just kind of let everything play out and just run what you can, and then you're there at the end. You run too hard, you're gonna go over the track. So. I think it's pretty cool how they have that. It's not a whole lot to work with on that track either, so it's risk reward on every single lap on how you want to run it, and I think it's good for these professional drivers to do that. It makes it a lot more exciting. But Buddy Kofoid held off Brad Sweet, dominated the win at Talladega short track. That's really all I got to say about that. He started up front, and I believe he led every lap. You can check that on me if you want, but he had a very solid car down there, and he's looking to build that momentum for the race the day after, transitioning into Magnolia Speedway. Brad Sweet, from looking outside without really watching any of the race, you can see Brad Sweet started on the pole and he ended up winning. Actually, it's his first win of the year, so that's actually probably the most surprising thing. I think he had 3 of the first 4 races as runner-up, so I know he's excited to finally get the win. But it wasn't easy. He had to take the lead back from Sheldon Haudenschild in the beginning of the race after Sheldon hit some lap traffic. Brad Sweet pulled away. Lap traffic still got involved, and with that lap traffic, more cautions came out towards the end, and the David Gravel started closing in, who's having a phenomenal year. I don't think anybody realizes how solid he's been already, so he's got a good shot to win this championship this year. But anyways, Sweet was able to put his car wherever he really wanted. It was able to handle. He was able to get that last 5 laps on the final restart, pull away from Gravel, and get the win at Magnolia Speedway. So that wraps up the World of Outlaws. A lot of exciting action already this year with them. It's been just having these close races and just going all these tracks that I've never really been familiar with. I know they haven't gone to Magnolia that often. I think it was the second or third time ever they've been there. So it's neat to see them explore different tracks throughout the country and put on such good shows for these fans and everything like that. Now let's get into some drag racing. NHRA was out in Arizona for the Arizona Nationals. Pretty good racing, especially pro stock. I'll actually touch on the pro stock first. It was a very very good race. Let me just Camry Caruso, she gets her first win, beats out Bo Butner. But the impressive thing was, I'm looking at the timing right now. It was all about the reaction time in the pro stock for the final. Reaction time for Bo Butner was 54 thousandths of a second. But Camry was able to get 44 thousandths of a second. That's the difference in this. Because let's go through this. At their 60 feet, they were dead even. They're .99. At 330 feet, Camry was actually a little bit behind by 5 one-thousandths of a second, 2.764 to 2.759. And this is all from the NHRA's website. Breaking it down. It's actually pretty cool how they break it down. Camry was still a little bit behind at the 660 foot with timing-wise by 5 one-thousandths. The final time, this is insane. Camry 6.592. Bo Butner's 6.593. That's pretty crazy. And to put that in perspective, she won by 4 feet. To go over 200 miles an hour and you win by 4 feet, that's pretty crazy. And that's her first win ever in a pro stock. So that's really cool to see as well. So a lot of good racing on that. She won the left lane. I didn't see the racing. I don't know how much the lane choice really mattered. 2 out of the 3 major series were won in the left lane. Going up to the funny car, which was another left lane victory, Robert Hight beat Ron Capps. From what I can tell, Ron Capps looks like he spun the tires, and Robert Hight just took the win. Not really any problem with that. He was able to just cruise the victory on that. I don't really have much to add on that one, as it was clear that one car spun and wasn't able to take advantage of the finals and everything. Top Fuel is the only one that the right lane won. And this was appeared to be a very good battle, too. Justin Ashley beat out Sean Langdon. And looks like, from what I could tell, reaction time was another big thing. Both were extremely fast. Justin Ashley ended up with a 3.705 and beat out Sean Langdon by 3.732. So it's all about the reaction time in NHRA. If you're able to get the jump and you have a solid car, you're likely going to win. So a lot of impressive action already for the drags, and they're coming up to their Winter Nationals this coming weekend, March 30th through the 2nd, in Pomona, California. This is the West Coast swing that they're doing. They've got it's the Arizona, California, then Las Vegas, then they go to Charlotte, which I will have first hand experience with that. I'll be at that race, so that'll be pretty cool to see them come back. Let me talk to you about my friends over at W Energy. You ever want to take a shot of some sort of caffeine beverage throughout the day to get through the day, but you don't want to end up feeling tired and feel the jitters after it? Well, go check out W Energy. They got a wide variety of products to get you through the day with no crash, no jitters, and everything is all natural extraction from coffee plants. Go to www.ggdubby.gg. Use the promo code ZBHP to get your 10% off of any order. Again, w.ggdubby.gg. Promo code ZBHP. Get 10% off your order. All right, so I guess it's the time to get into picks for this coming weekend. So let's just start off with NASCAR. So the trucks wanted to be different this weekend. They're going to be racing in Texas and on Saturday. And Xfinity on Saturday is racing at Richmond. The Cup Series is also racing in Richmond on Sunday. I miss the Cup Series racing in Richmond at nighttime. I used to really enjoy the Richmond night races, and I think them going away from the night races has definitely negatively impacted the quality of the races. Richmond, it just hasn't been exciting races recently. I think for the Cup race, I think they're going to the reduced downforce package, but I'm not 100% certain. That'll probably be revealed later this week. Again, reminding everybody. I think it is, though. So maybe that'll happen. Maybe that'll help out. It needs to be a similar package to Phoenix. I think it did put on better racing, especially about mid-pack, and had drivers be able to dice it up and drive and pass the cars and everything. But for Texas, for the truck race, it's really hard, especially how that track's been fixed in NASCAR's eyes. I don't know. That needs to be reconfigured, and they need to figure out something and not make it like Atlanta. But it's really not. It's really kind of open who could win at that. If you look at the entry list and everything, I'm still going to go with who I've picked a couple times, Matt Crafton. He's bound to get a win. It's a good track to get a win. So we'll see if he can actually do it, or if I still have bad luck calling it and everything. He still ran good at Atlanta. Still got a solid finish after he ended up spinning. But that's pack racing, and that's a little bit different. But I think you'll see him dice it up still and be up at the front. Xfinity at Richmond. It's really hard to pick against Austin Hill right now. He's just been very impressive everywhere he's gone, and he's shown speed. It's different tracks and different styles of racing. It doesn't really matter. He's been very good. So why not? Let's go Austin Hill to win that one. In the Cup race, this is the one I really take seriously. I thought about it, and whose weekend I probably will end up ruining. And when you look at Richmond, the style of racing it is short track, but you have the long straightaway, especially the front stretch. With these new next gen cars, there'll be different upshifting, downshifting each lap, and it's about getting in a rhythm, about being there for the long haul. And what I was able to see at Phoenix, he didn't get the win, but he showed me the consistency that's required to get these wins at these type of racetracks. I think you'll see Kevin Harvick have a good shot to win this race. He's been very consistent the entire year already for his farewell tour, and it's just the race that he'll probably start in the teens, make his way up, and then as he always does, be like, where the hell did he come from? How he earned his closer nickname. I think you'll see him get in a groove and get on a rhythm. I think you'll see long green flag runs here for the Cup Series. I don't want to get into how many cautions are probably about to be at Xfinity. So yeah, let's go Kevin Harvick. Kevin, I'm so very sorry if you end up spinning and stuff in this race. It's not my fault. But I do have confidence in him, and I think he's got a solid chance to get his first official winner of the year there. And I think he'll have a few wins this year when it's all said and done. It's not like he's ending his career when he's still not able to drive. He's still able to wheel the thing. He's still competitive. So look for him to be up there. No, I refrained from picking a World of Outlaws pick last week. But why not just pick one for this week? You can really go out on a limb on anybody. Outlaws are heading to the Devil's Bowl Speedway in Texas. So can I get a hell yeah from that? Because whoever named that was a drunk redneck in Texas. Said, hell yeah, come to Devil's Bowl. Here we go. So I'm definitely going to watch that because that just sounds like it's a party, I bet. I would hope you're named Devil's Bowl and you're in damn Texas. So I would hope it's a lot of fun. But at least one of the races I got to go with the guy that's been very consistent throughout the year is David Gravel. Just how he's shown the speed and wherever he's gone, whichever track configuration there is, he's found a way to be up front, run up front, win races. So at least I think he could win. He'll be up there mixing it up. You're going to see Brad Sweet mixing it up. So either of those could win both or one of each again. And obviously you can't count out Donnie Schatz. I think those are the three key drivers for this year. And I think you can put in Sheldon Haudenschild as well. And yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up with the picks and everything. And a look ahead and all that. Coming out this Friday, we have former sprint car racer Glenn Clark coming on the show. Glenn's he had a racing career of upwards of 3 decades from the late 70s, early 80s into the early 2000s, and he raced a variety of different race cars. The UMCs, 410s, and had his own range of success in each of those, and he's also helped work on different cars. So definitely tune into that this coming Friday, and we have a big interviews coming forward. So keep sharing, keep liking. Click that subscribe button, that little red triangle thing below. I don't know if I'm actually pointing at it, but it's that only thing that's red on the screen. You just click on it, click subscribe, like the video, spread the word, and yeah, let's just keep this thing rolling. You guys have a good one.